Uh, Friday, August 24th. And I kind of want to just sit down, kind of talk to y'all about. I got this great question asked to me yesterday. So the question was posed to me by a newcomer in junk removal, and he asked me, Ricardo, when you started out, what was the name of the bank that gave you a loan to help you advance in business? And I said, whoa, great question, right? Great question. I mean, what kind of loan? And I'm going to kind of elaborate on that because I think it's important that I elaborate on the whole loan situation or grant. Well, the government doesn't really offer a grant. Well, no, the government does not 100% offer a grant for junk removal. Maybe a recycling plant, like a $1 billion recycling plant, maybe they'll do that. But for junk removal, it's not even existence. It's not something I could really talk about, right? Because it's not there. So when I started 15 years ago, I did not get a loan, okay? So I started this business with my dad's van and some wit and Craigslist, right? So that's how I built this business. And there's a lot of people out there getting lines of credit on their vehicles, financing on their properties, financing on their land, financing on their trucks. And they're finding ways to start this junk removal business, right? They're finding ways to get finance and to get loans to start junk removal. I never did that. I never did that. And that's why I remain profitable. And that's why I can do my prices so cheap. And anything that I do, I can do my prices so cheap because of that reason, right? Now, I want to say something, okay, that's clearly very important. So, in 2020, the U.S. government put a loan out, right? The U.S. government put an EIDL loan. It was a loan because of COVID. The IDL loan and the PPL loan was a government-funded loan, and it was over $4 trillion. And they gave over, $800 billion to companies, another, $200 billion to small businesses, and then they wrote checks out to everybody. And this was a huge deal. It was a huge deal. When that happened, I want to tell you that I saw more businesses pop up, more junk removal businesses out there, right? A lot of people got on this gravy train, right? Well, and I want to make this understanding because I kind of want to clarify something, right? And I think it's very, very important that I talk about it, okay? But if I started any kind of business, not even junk removal, just like, let's pretend I started a restaurant, okay? Let's pretend I started a restaurant. And I want everybody to think about this, okay? And this is just common sense. This has nothing to do with me being a speaker or a talker into this business. This has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with that. This happens to do with common sense, okay? In business, just in business. Any kind of business that you run, this is just common sense. I'm gonna set this phone down because I'm getting tired of holding it. All right, I wanna make myself clear. If I start a restaurant, and this restaurant is not a very good restaurant, and it's profitable, but I got $280,000 loan, then I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do with this restaurant. I'm going to keep the restaurant going until I run out of the $280,000 loan, because I'm going to ultimately think that the process is going to work. And what's that process? The process is business, being an entrepreneur. I'm thinking the whole time that this business that I own, that I started it like a little baby, is going to actually work out. So I get this loan from the bank, from the government. It doesn't matter where I get this loan at. And you know what? I want to be specific with this loan. A lot of companies out there, a lot of junk removal companies, and I think you know who you are, right, guys? The people out there that got the loans, and that's okay. I totally understand you needed help to get that loan. to stay in business. You needed help to stay in business, so you got that loan. I totally understand that. And the government was giving it on really low, like 2% or 1%, something like that. I understand why you got that loan. Plus, the government was giving it to everybody, right? But a lot of these business junk removal owners got the PPL loan, which means Paycheck Protection Program loan. And a lot of people got the economic disaster loan, the EIDL loan, okay? Which is the economic disaster loan. And a lot of people got that loan and got hundreds of thousands of dollars to start the junk removal business. But I'm going to tell you one thing that the government did not give away is how to run a business profitable. A lot of these junk removal businesses got the loan and started junk removal. They started to increase sales, but they owed money, right? And when the government gives away free money, it's easy to stay in business. It's easy to be able to, stay profitable, right? And why? It's because you're not using your own money. You're using the government's money. You're using the government's economic push for you to be financially profitable. Now, here's what I don't understand is that if I started a junk removal business called Ricardo's Junk Removal here in Dallas, Texas, not junk guys, and I had never done junk removal, but I borrowed $250,000 from the US government to keep my business afloat, then guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna use that money to keep this non-profitable business flowing. And I'm gonna keep on investing that money. And I'm gonna make these small little payments to the government because they're really not gonna ask me for any money. And I'm gonna keep that flowing until I realize that I'm not making any money. And that takes years. It takes, oh man. So I kind of want you to imagine if you had $50,000 in the bank, how long $50,000 would last you if you were a non-profitable business. If you were not making a dollar in junk removal, but how long would $50,000 last you in ads, thumbtack, SEO, all that bullshit that people buy in junk removal? How long would it last you? And how long would it take you to realize you're not making any money? Now, I want you to get that $50,000 and quantify it with $250,000, okay? Now you're kind of getting an idea. So a lot of these business owners went and started junk removal, and I know a lot of y'all did, right? Well, here's the part that really rattles me, okay? You started this business, and you stayed in business. You only stayed in business because of the government loans. But now you're going to tell people and give them advice on how to run a business that the government gave you for free? Or that the government gave it to you on a low interest rate? That doesn't make any sense to me. So there's all these gurus and all these coaches out there telling you, hey man, I could tell you how to run a $1 million business. Well, fuck, give me $250,000 and I'll tell you how to run a $1 million business with ads. Guys, here's what I'm telling you. If you gave me $250,000, I would grab that money and put it into $250,000 of Google preferred ads. And guess what? In return, Google would give me over $1 million in revenue. And yes, and then I'd get on YouTube and say, hey guys, man, Jesus Christ, guys, I have the recipe for you. I just started making $1 million in junk removal, and I'm going to show you how to do it, guys. But I'm going to kind of not mention to you that, well, I borrow that money from the government, right? There's a lot of companies out there, a lot of business owners that did that. And this is a topic nobody wants to talk about in junk removal because everybody runs a successful business. If you run such a successful business, I want you to think about this. If you're a business owner and you're fucking hating on me right now, you know who you are. You're hating this video. You're sitting there cringing because you're hearing this video. Because why? I'm giving you knowledge, but truthful knowledge. This is not bullshit, right? This is actual truth. And you're sitting there cringing going, man, this motherfucker's putting it out there. Oh, what? He didn't get the loan? So he's going to put it everybody. No, this is common fucking sense. Just nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about it. You went and got that loan to build a business, and now you're starting to pay it back really slow. But what happens when you run out of that money that the government gave you and you start spending it on, well, household goods? household expenses. What happens? All these business owners in junk removal don't think and don't realize that they went off and spent that money and now they have to pay it back. Now the EIDL loan, you don't have to pay back, but the PPL loan does have to be paid back. If you're such a good owner in junk removal, I'm talking to the owners that got the loan, okay? If you're such a good owner in junk removal and you're so profitable, I want you to think about this. Whatever money the government gave you, if the government gave you $100,000, if you got the PPL loan or the EIDL loan, if the government gave you $150,000 or $250,000 or anything in between from $400,000 or less, anything like that, if you think you're profitable, then do this. Pay them back. Pay them back the money and then see if you're profitable. Because, I mean, your business is profitable. You're making $1 million every year, or $2 million, or $3 million, or $4 million in revenue. If you were so successful as a business owner, the reality is you should pay them back. But the fact is, the truth, you don't have that money. You never had that money. If it wasn't for COVID, that money is not in your bank account. And that money does not exist to you. That means you are not an entrepreneur. That means you're not running a business. You tried to run a business with the loan that the government gave you. That's what happened. For the last 15 years, I've ran my business without one single loan. Nothing. Nobody gave me money. Nobody. I ran it with zero amount of EIDL loan and PPL loan. My business does not have a bank loan. All the vehicles that you see here on my property are paid for, okay? At this headquarters, these mini dumpsters were paid for cash. That logo was paid for cash, and this building was paid for cash, and that truck right there was paid for cash, and all the other trucks on the other property were paid for cash. I don't have to buy a new truck because in this business, you don't need a truck. But check this out. You know, a lot of people give me shit because I don't put logos on my trucks. I don't have logo on that, but I have logo there. And I have 2 logos on the outside signs. I have logos on my door. Well, plus I'm Ricardo, the junk guy, right? And I tell it like it is. So I want you to realize if you're starting a junk removal service and these people are out here teaching these programs about coaching and stuff, ask them if they got the loan. Tell them to be serious with you. Ask them if you got the loan and that's why you're teaching me. Why? Because you're only staying in business because you're not an entrepreneur. You never owned a business. You tried to run a business and it wasn't successful. But when COVID came around, you took advantage of getting that loan from the government. That's what happened. There's nothing to it. And a lot of people might say different things. A lot of people might, I'm building a huge ass, building. I'm expanding my business. I'm growing it bigger than ever, right? And it's just not true. It's just not true. Because when you borrow money to run a business and to stay profitable, that's all you're doing. You're running a business with the government's money or a loan, a bank money, and you're trying to stay in business. Well, what happens when that money's gone? What kind of entrepreneur are you now? Guys, there are so many business owners that are going to hate me right now. Because I'm bringing a very sensitive topic of money. And money's something really hard to talk about. Money's really sensitive to talk about overall. Banking's really sensitive. But I want you to think about that when it happened to the people of Yellow Trucking. When Yellow Trucking filed bankruptcy and left all those people working for 2-3 weeks without a paycheck. That's what happens when people are cooking the books. They owed the government over $800 million from their PPL loan. And this is going to happen the same thing. When junk removal companies run out of that $250,000 or $300,000 or $185,225, whatever money they got from the government, and they think that they've been profitable this whole time, because you borrowed money from the government. That's the only reason you're profitable. What the fuck how do I have to explain this, guys? This is stupid. Stupid. Guys, I don't understand how we live in a world where people just don't understand that. Any business you can start up right now, if they gave me $1 million, I would start almost any business. For $1 million, I bet I can go buy land, put some containers out and rent them out to people. And boom, I'm an Airbnb. For $1 million, I bet I can go buy about 30 cars, sit them on a lot, rent the lot out, and be a car salesman. For $1 million, I'll start another junk removal business. Buy trucks, buy used trucks, of course, but buy a lot of trucks, throw some logos on, tap them up, and start a junk removal service. For $1 million that the government gives me, I'm gonna open up a taqueria, a taco stand. And I'm gonna be successful until that money runs out. Because what? I'm a business owner now. I'm an entrepreneur. No, you're not. I'm borrowing money. I'm a borrower. That's what I am. So don't be deceived by that, guys. Don't let people who are trying to teach you mentorship or coaching you on how to be a borrower. You need to learn from an entrepreneur, someone that's honestly profitable. If it ain't for me, find somebody else, okay? Well, I'll end this video, and gosh, I'm sorry, business owners, for cringing. You know, I know a lot of people that don't like me and a lot of people that like me. Find out the people that don't borrow money from the government. Find out the people that don't run bank loans and learn from them, because apparently they did something right. And the people are just bullshitting you that they didn't get a loan from the government when they know deep inside they got a loan. You're not an entrepreneur. You're a borrower. You borrowed money from the government to stay afloat and run a business. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye-bye.